Hey guys, is everyone doing tonight? So, long journey, short path. I started playing The Last of Us. I wasn't about to support the game. A friend of mine, I originally was going to just rent the game and try it, but a friend of mine bought it, which I urged him not to. Now, I've played maybe 4 hours of it. Yeah, maybe 4 hours of it. And here's the thing. Of all the games that have been given 10 out of 10s, I've played them and I've just felt they were garbage. Um, Red Dead Redemption 2 and what was the other? The God of War 2018. People say those were amazing, and no, I'm here to tell you, no, they weren't. Um, Now, when it comes to The Last of Us, I played the original. I thought it was a well put together game. It had a good use of character development and stuff like that. But I've always just felt Uncharted was a far more fun game to play. Um, the original Last of Us was more of an experience, but I felt Uncharted was more fluid and it was just better. And particularly Uncharted 2 and 4. Uncharted 3 was meh, and Uncharted 1 was kind of bad. Anywho, fast forward to The Last of Us 2. And first of all, many of the leaks that you may have seen are true. It First of all, the game looks really good, but at the same time, it's just like, I've seen better Winter and maybe Metro Exodus or something, maybe Red Dead 2. But it still looks great. The issue I have with it is it's just boring. And this is one of my issues with all the other 10 out of 10 games. They're just boring. Um Now, first things first, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the leaks, you may want to click off this video. Long journey, short path, Joel dies within the first, 2.5 hours of the game. And it's cool if you have a main character die, but this is kind of like, if anyone ever saw G.I. Joe Retribution, it was kind of like Duke's death in the very beginning of the movie, and you're just like, wait, is this a joke? And the whole death of Joel, it is so contrived. Literally. Like, I'll give you the synopsis. They meet Abby, who is this T girl, I'm assuming, and you know, they're like, one thing that's really weird is they meet this chick, and they introduce themselves as they're like hauling ass away from like these zombies, which are like swarming on them World War Z style, which I don't understand how you managed to do that. They did it here, and they just run back into Abby and the WLF's lair. And I think WLF stands for Washington Liberty Federation or some shit. Yeah. Um and it's just it was just really contrived. Like, literally, they run back into their compound. They're Abby and some dude, they're like looking for Joel at the beginning, and he just runs into their compound. It just, to me, the whole thing just didn't make sense. One, I don't even know how she knows what Joel looks like. Two, um yeah, run. So she just runs in there, and Joel introduces himself again to the entire crowd, and he's like, "Oh, looks like you know. Looks, why do you guys seem like you know us?" And then she's like, and then Abby's like, "'Cause they do." And I'm just like, "Oh crap." And yeah, and that's actually how you unlock the golfing mini game in The Last of Us 2. Ironically, Eh, but that kind of pissed me off. And here is another issue outside of very few games, and most open world games have this issue, is they have this, especially in the second level in Seattle, well, the second act or whatever, where you're literally just riding a horse all around the city, go into a building, look for stuff, sneak up behind some clickers. It gets very old very quickly. And it's just, this is another issue with open world games, is the constant loop. Like, to me, again, call me biased, I think the most immersive open world game, Joe, if you're watching this, it's not The Witcher 3, it was Metro Exodus. It was able to keep the loop fun, engaging, and introduce new mechanics to it as you went along. The Last of Us, it literally is, it's just boring. Literally, the whole after Joel's death thing felt like it was more of the end of the game than it was a beginning of the game. I don't understand. I really just don't understand what they were thinking with this. And then they have this pushing this whole LGBTQ agenda, and I'm just like, what? Which I'll give it credit. I don't really care for Dina. She's just that. She just seems like that girl that's just there. Almost like almost like Meg from Family Guy. Yeah. Um. There's that. Uh. I guess the guitar mini game in this is cool. Um. I would have preferred to play more as Joel or as Tommy in this. Just to be honest with you. Um. Well, that's really it. It's just one of the issues I have with open world games is none of it stays with you. Like, you have certain parts of a game you remember, and you will remember it till like the day you die, right? Well, with games, certain games go open world. For example, Metal Gear Solid 5, where, and this is just an open world level. Not saying the game's not open world, but the level is open world. But certain games, it doesn't stay with you. Metal Gear Solid 5, it was a good game, but everything just blended together. There was nothing that I can pick out off the top of my head that I thought stood out to me about that game in terms of levels and stuff like that. The gameplay was good, but that was really it. The story was, it was there, but it really wasn't as prominent as it was in the first through fourth games, and Peace Walker, which they need to remake that in the Fox engine, by the way. Anywho, yeah, so long journey, short path, The Last of Us 2, it is effectively done what a lot of previous other forms of media has done, which is take a franchise, an existing franchise, a franchise lauded by fans, and inject it with SJW propaganda, if you will. And the whole thing just falls flat. I completely understand Skillup's review because there's parts of the story I can already see that don't make sense. I completely understand him now, which I knew there were red flags when Sony basically said you can't cover anything in the final 12 hours of the game, which, and you can't talk about Abby, which just doesn't make sense. That there's just there's a bunch of red flags there. But if you like this review, give it a like. Tell me what you think. If you think I'm a moron, feel free to put it in the comment section. Have a good day.